I think she's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
I want to be clear, though. It's not her first job. It was her first press briefing. She worked in the previous Trump administration.
What exactly came out of Karoline's mouth that rattled Joy Behar, tested Whoopi's patience, and left Sunny Hostin momentarily speechless? You'll want to stick around for this breakdown. Instead of staying quiet, Karoline unleashed a blistering attack that shattered the usual niceties, spotlighted contradictions, and sent the entire show into chaos. The backlash has been so intense that whispers are already circulating. ABC executives might be considering shutting The View down for good.
The View hosts have got themselves into hot water again after they did the very thing they purport to be against, undermining women's success. Joy Behar stunned viewers when she said Donald Trump's press secretary, 27-year-old Karoline Leavitt, only secured her position because of her good looks.
I think she's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
I want to be clear, though. It's not her first job. It was her first press briefing. She worked in the previous Trump administration.
Let's set the stage. Karoline Leavitt, a young conservative who often finds herself at odds with the hosts, was once again put under fire on The View. This time, the panel followed a familiar pattern, mocking her, questioning her authenticity, and even suggesting that Trump's support for her was nothing more than recognition of her appearance. Joy Behar, brimming with her trademark confidence, went so far as to argue that Karoline's career wasn't truly earned, but rather handed to her simply because she fit Trump's ideal image. Meanwhile, Whoopi Goldberg jumped in with one of her trademark tirades, brushing aside facts in favor of fiery rhetoric, insisting that Karoline's voice wouldn't even exist without leaning on the so-called crutch of wokeness.
The comment was bizarre, especially coming from Joy Behar, who is as woke as they come and positions herself as a champion of feminism. This online commentator said, disgusting Joy Behar of The View accuses Karoline Leavitt of being hired only because Donald Trump thought she was a 10.
For those who genuinely enjoy Whoopi Goldberg's constant stream of commentary, it seems there's never a pause. And with that, let's turn back and catch what she had to say this time.
I would like this young lady this is her first job, I would like her to do a little homework. Because she said something yesterday that really pissed me off. And that was, she said, there will be no wokeness here.
Oh, yeah.
Let me explain something to you. Because without that wokeness, you might not have that job.
Yeah.
Because women were not invited to that table.
True to form, Sunny Hostin steered the conversation straight toward race. But Karoline refused to let it slide. Instead of staying quiet, she fired back with a cutting response so sharp that even the production crew was likely left stunned.
Women were not invited to many tables in this nation. The reason we fought and busted our behinds to make sure that you didn't have to worry about this. And now to hear you talk about it and to hear anybody talk about the wokeness was put in place for a reason. Because black people couldn't get into colleges. Because women could not get into the colleges they wanted to go to. This is all women. No. See, this is not black, Asian women. This is all women. Women were not invited to this party. It was a man's world, and we busted our asses to make sure that this was a person's world.
This commentator said, Whoopi is mansplaining the press secretary job to Karoline Leavitt. Hilarious.
Karoline didn't just clap back on the show. She took the fight online. In a fiery video that spread across social media within hours, she laid bare what she sees as the real face of The View. A circle of bitter elites who preach feminism while tearing down any woman bold enough to disagree with them.
No, please. His opponents are saying to this very day the same rhetoric that led to those 2 assassination attempts. The second attempted assassin on President Trump's life echoed the sentiment that President Trump is a threat to democracy. And if you're a deranged lunatic and you're mentally ill, you will believe that lie. And yes, you will take political violence like we have seen in 2 instances against President Trump. Last week, Tim Walz and Kamala Harris said that everyone who showed up to President Trump's rally at Madison Square Garden was a That's despicable, dangerous, divisive rhetoric that is spewed by the Democrat Party every single day. And I'm so sick and tired of the media pointing the finger at Donald Trump and saying that he is sowing division in this country. He is not.
She singled out Joy Behar as the embodiment of that contradiction, mocking conservative women, ridiculing their looks, and dismissing their accomplishments. And when it came to Whoopi Goldberg's well-known claim, "I wouldn't be here without wokeness," Karoline shot back bluntly, "I earned my place through hard work, not by riding the wave of unqualified diversity hires." Sunny Hostin's attempt to spin the debate toward privilege didn't faze her either. Karoline cut straight through with a line that left the entire panel stunned. She's not playing that game. In her words, The View doesn't celebrate strong women. They only celebrate women who follow their script. The fallout was immediate. Hashtags like #cancel the View and #Karoline Leavitt Downs started trending within minutes. What the hosts expected to be another routine dismissal ended up elevating Karoline's profile, cementing her as a rising voice in conservative circles. Behind the scenes, the backlash rattled ABC. Reports suggest executives are weighing drastic changes, with whispers that Joy Behar and Whoopi Goldberg could even face dismissal. Producers are said to be livid, calling this exchange a step too far, while longtime viewers are beginning to turn away. One viral tweet summed it up perfectly, capturing the shift in public mood with just a few words. The View talks a big game about women's empowerment, yet quickly tears down any woman who refuses to fit its script. Now, with sponsors sounding the alarm, major brands are rumored to be rethinking their ad placements. Nobody wants to be tied to a show drowning in controversy. The warning signs have been there for years, but this time it looks like they may have set their own house on fire. Karoline Leavitt has pulled back the curtain, exposing what she believes is the show's true nature. The backlash is fierce, the hypocrisy impossible to ignore, and ABC is left with a critical decision: shut the show down completely or attempt sweeping changes. Drama has always been The View's selling point, but when the fallout outweighs the fan base, the end feels inevitable. The show is already on shaky ground. Could this be the breaking point that finally brings it down for good? Now it's your turn. Has The View crossed the line once and for all? Will ABC really pull the plug after this mess? One thing is certain: Karoline's explosive response has jolted the media in a way they weren't prepared for.